Yo, hey guys, what's up? Check out my NFT project.
I think it
It
takes a sec for us to
is
actually go
cool.
live.
It's just pictures of me, looking cool. So check it out. Hey Griffin, what's up?
What is up, David? Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to the soldiers that died in the service. I dive in the cervix.
Bars. Wow.
Bars. I stole that from 2 Chainz.
Dude, shouts out actually to 2 Chainz. He was actually just in Chicago recently. I
Really?
unfortunately missed him because I went to go see I went to go see The Body instead of 2 Chainz. So I mean, say what you will of that.
Yeah,
kind
I
of
don't
a
really.
bit of a pitchfork nerd, I guess, move right there. Go see the edgy noise metal band over 2 Chainz, but it's
Yeah,
my
that's
loss
definitely a
nonetheless.
pitchfork move. I saw someone's I forget what it's called, but someone on Twitter was like roasted this dude because his top albums of all time were literally just like Rate Your Music's top albums of all time. He's like, dude, I don't even know what Rate Your Music is.
Yeah, dude, what?
Dude, what?
Dude, I love Death Grips and don't know who Anthony Fantano is. Dude.
Oh my
What?
god, yeah. I do love Death.
Dude, they didn't utilize their features, dude. ASAP didn't utilize his features on. Yeah, whatever. I digress. Griffin, intro.
What is up, party people? We are Griffin and Bing. Welcome to the 80s Anime Playlist Podcast. For those that do not know, we watch anime that is on this anime playlist on YouTube that we found, and we talk about it on the podcast. And so today we are talking about Birth from 1984, directed by Shin'ya Sadamitsu. So first, let's get into an initial plot summary. Just a heads up, there will be spoilers. We're going to talk about analysis just generally while we're going through the plot summary. So while, you could skip it, let me just tell you, this is not a movie you want to care about spoilers for. It's not very good. It's ass. It's mids.
Yeah. No, I would concur with that.
Okay. So let me start off with, it starts off in this desert planet called Aquinos? Fuck, I didn't even take notes of that. I take extensive notes for every pod. Damn.
Yeah. No. It's that's the name of it. That's the name of the planet. You're right.
Okay. So it starts off, and the first shot is of this girl named Raza going on sort of this Star Wars-y glider bike. And she's just going out over the desert, and she's attacked by this big black ball. We find out later that this big black ball was called an inorganic. And the inorganics are sort of at war with the organics, who are the humans and the animals. The inorganics, I think, are essentially robots, right? You'd say that's accurate.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
It's never explained.
I mean, it's interesting because it's like they're like kind of like sentient objects is kind of what. Because I mean, they definitely have like opinions about women.
Yeah, they do have opinions about women,
and and their figure, which is like, to be honest, that's really all the dialogue they spoke.
That was all the dialogue they spoke. So she runs into some inorganics, and they follow her on her bike with their own bikes. And let me just say, they call her Jiggly Butt Girl.
Yep.
Like
that ass, though.
Bro, that's
I like how that's just like that's the punchline.
That's the punchline. That's the setup in the punchline.
Highbrow comedy.
Oh yeah, so well developed. Like, bro, it's like Space Dandy without any sort of juxtaposition of important dialogue or opinions about women that are clearly ironic. It's just like there's no irony here. We're just gonna call her Jiggly Butt Girl because haha.
Yeah, it's a pretty it's just pretty like lowbrow humor. It's not even like lowbrow in like a cool way either. It's just a pretty poorly written joke.
It's just very poorly written.
It's just like not funny.
Yeah. So she gets away from them and she's joined by this little yellow dude named Monga. David, what do you think of Monga?
I mean, I felt like it also like kind of like started off the movie with that. So I guess like I don't know. I thought they were pretty annoying. They kind of reminded me similarly kind of just of like Jar Jar Binks or like that fucking little thing from the Ice Age. What was the thing from Ice Age? You know how they always had it in the
the little squirrel. I like the squirrel though.
With the squirrel. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that's what this was an attempt at doing.
It was an attempt at the squirrel.
And I feel like when you do those things, you're kind of like flipping a coin. And like either people like enjoy it and they find it like endearing and like fun, or it's just like this little annoying thing. And I think it fell on more of the side of just like little annoying thing than cute, endearing creature.
Yeah, and at first I was like, this thing is pretty cute, it's pretty, whatever. And then it started talking and the voice acting for it was terrible. It's like Jar Jar Binks, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
It's like Jar Jar Binks if Jar Jar Binks was also acted by a child. And was, I don't know. It's like if Jar Jar Binks was a chihuahua who spent all the time between two women's breasts. I don't know.
All right, man. That's something. I guess
that it's something. I think it's accurate.
Accurate?
Yeah, accurate. Acura. Do you drive an Acura?
No, dude. Luckily, I don't have a car, so that's not eating up my bank account right now. It's just just old school anime, I guess.
Yeah, we found a free playlist, so.
Well, yeah, this is a free playlist, yes, but like, the physical copies of some of this stuff is.
Oh yeah, like I want to buy all the Urusei Yatsura movies and all the seasons. Oh, they're making a 2022 Urusei Yatsura. Dude, I don't know if it's come out yet, but we gotta watch that. I'm hoping it's on Crunchyroll, but if it's not, I mean, we can find it. I wonder if I don't think we have chat open. I don't think we have chat.
Absolutely.
Oh, sick. Quick shout out to the Acura sponsor. Very seamless. Yes, Acura is our sponsor. They provide us with free cars and Acura shaped dildos. They're very good. If you want one, just send me a message on Instagram.
I love flying my Acura. I can fly it anywhere I want. I can go to Pakistan, Tijuana.
Yeah.
I'm making moves. I'm making plays.
Make sure to call me Big Baby G.
Third World Gang.
That's actually like, if you don't call me Big Baby G, I get really sad. And I get really insecure. And it really hurts my feelings. And like this Acura sponsorship is a big deal. Like I'm a big deal, okay? So you have to call me Big Baby G. Okay?
It says your stream title's Griffin though, so
shut the fuck up.
So I think I'm just gonna keep calling you Griffin Collins.
My dad was actually like, you gotta stop swearing, your sister's young. And I was like, okay, sorry. So yeah, that's the advantage of living at home.
The ups, yes, sir.
Why did Alex post a monkey? Alex posted a monkey.
I don't know. But
yeah, so basically then we are introduced to Bao and Kim, who are in a spaceship looking for this artifact, which is a giant like light sword flying through space. And they pursue the sword, and basically the sword falls to the planet, and we're taken to Nam, who is it's a cast of characters. I wouldn't say there's really a main character, but Nam is probably our protagonist, if I had to say anyone is. And Nam gets the sword. He's greeted by this ghost lady, Arlia. And Arlia is like, yeah, this sword is basically like, this is the sacred weapon. And he takes it, and then he's attacked by an inorganic. They all come to Earth. I have more extensive notes on this. I should probably be looking at them, but like, nothing really happens, to be honest. It's just they just kind of fight inorganics. There's more chase scenes. They win all the fights. And then eventually Bao comes to Earth. He tries to bargain with Nam to get the sword to take it to the Navy, who are never really introduced or explained. But that's not really a big deal. They're only a side plot. Not a side plot even. They're only a side comment. Then they are attacked by another inorganic who speaks in fruits and vegetables.
Yes, my favorite sequence of the film.
Yes, that was pure comedy. Really good comedy.
Yeah, no, that was definitely it was definitely super funny, and I was definitely laughing the whole time.
I was like, wow, like this is so creative.
Yeah, no, I did not enjoy that part really at all. I thought it was pretty stupid. And yeah, I just kind of, to be honest, it totally like it just detracted from the fight, which was also pretty lame because like I think really the base of why all the fighting was lame kind of starts with the antagonist's character design. It's kind of like a obese Gundam or like a trash can kind of.
Yeah.
Which like it's a pretty terrible. I don't know. It's a pretty terrible art style. It's pretty terrible art. If you draw anything just like a cylinder, it's like, oh, look at this evil cylinder. It's like and that was like it. That was all there was to it. It was pretty lame.
It's like if Gabriel Iglesias was a giant mech.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, not even. I mean, I feel like to give Mr. Iglesias some credit, at least he's like funny.
Yeah, he is funny. He's a great comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then our favorite character, Monga, actually defeats the inorganic. Let me add, the sword is called Shade. The Mongas, yeah, he calls the Mongas after Raza gets caught, who is the girl character, and they swarm the inorganic and just take it down. And it's like, those things are made of what I presume to be metal, never explained. And yeah, I just, if it was that easy, why do humans have trouble with these things?
I guess what it's worth talking about is talking about like the gun. I think the rocket launcher or whatever the hell.
We're getting to that. That
was okay. Okay, so that hasn't happened yet, even.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because what I would say too about what is kind of like a bit frustrating about this movie is it definitely like events happen and that's kind of like it. There's really no like connection between them. They just like kind of like events occur and the film just expects you to care about them.
Monkey.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, they don't it just doesn't have like the structure to like stand on its own. So like it presents like an interesting idea, but then like it just has really like it barely has anything to facilitate the idea. I will give it credit though. I thought the sword sequence, like and the sword lore, like that was cool.
That was cool.
That was genuinely cool.
But then, spoiler alert: the sword literally does nothing the whole movie.
Yeah,
the sword
I don't think it killed. It killed like
No.
one of them. I think
No,
once.
it doesn't kill any of them. It killed
No,
one of them.
It killed
but, like,
one of
it
them.
kills one of them.
Yeah.
It kills one of the bikers, but it's like just a sword. Can you imagine if lightsabers were just like normal, you know?
Well, yeah, because the sword was imbued with the souls of others that had died, right? Like, what was it? Right?
I think it was imbued with like the power of organics from across the universe.
Okay. Yeah.
And you'd think that like that would hold some weight, and like you'd think it like the whole movie. It's like, what's that whole cinema idea of you never show you show a gun in the first act and it has to go off by the third act. This is a pretty literal like application of that.
Yeah. Yes,
like
there is a title for that, and I am forgetting what it's called. I know what you're talking about, though. It's kind of like a centralized item in like a film.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Also, let me add on the act structure. Like, you expect like sort of like, you know, maybe not 3 acts, because anime is often a very different kind of storytelling, which is why I'm drawn to it. But this was just like Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun. Here, let me show the comment. By Medias Gefleiser.
Yeah, shots, Matt.
Sounds Russian. I don't like Russians. Just kidding. I love everyone. Are you Russian?
No, Russians are pretty cool, man. They made some cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Tarkovsky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, so back to the plot summary. They're attacked by the inorganics. Then I forget why they leave. I took notes about it, but it's never really even explained. It's just like they just leave, and they're going back to the town, and they're chased by inorganics underground, and they're they fight the inorganics, and Nam, who's our main male character, finds what is it called? Dongehemaru, which is this mass destruction weapon that can essentially destroy the whole planet. And he's getting ready to shoot it at these inorganics who they're fighting underground, and Bao stops him and explains it to him. And so they go back outside, and then a gigantic inorganic comes down, and basically, Dave, can you search real quick if this is a manga?
Yeah. Oh, and the term I was looking for is a MacGuffin. That's what it
MacGuffin.
is. Yes. So yeah, that's like kind of like a famous example of a MacGuffin is the suitcase in Pulp Fiction, for example.
That's a really good MacGuffin.
And the sled from Citizen Kane. And I don't think the sword was really supposed to really. It was like kind of that. But yeah, no, it was a weird. The sword had an odd relationship with the movie because the film like gave it a lot of importance, and then it just like didn't do shit the entire movie, which is sort of like not well done. And what did you want me to look up again? I'm sorry.
If Birth has a manga.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Apparently, this weapon can destroy the whole planet. Just more tracing is my notes. I literally have in my notes, God, nothing is happening. Because nothing happens this whole movie. Keep in mind, we've talked about this. Like, there have been maybe, like, it's just been one giant chase scene. And it's supposed to be a comedy. It's supposed to be funny. It's not funny. It's just really frustrating. It's just really frustrating as a film because you can tell it had an okay budget, but yeah. Anyway, And they go outside, and this giant moon-sized inorganic comes down and attaches to the planet and starts attacking them. And so Nam is about to shoot the inorganic with the Doomsday weapon. And Kim, who's Bao's co-pilot on the ship, and one of the other main cast, stops him. It's like, you can't do that. You're going to destroy the planet. And he's like, okay. And so I forget how he drops the weapon. It just falls to the side. And then there's this little inorganic who was introduced earlier in the film, who at the time I was like, that's probably important. It's probably important. I don't know why it's important. He's kind of annoying. So he shows up in the middle of the first chase scene with the bikers and Raza. And he says to Raza, hey, why don't we go on a date? Why don't we drink some soybean milk, which sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What, when was that?
That was earlier in the film. That was during the first biker chase scene. With Raza.
The lieutenant, right?
Yeah. The little dude. And the little dude's like, you know what? Everyone hates me. Everyone's mean to me. I'm going to fire this weapon at the giant moon-sized inorganic. And the whole main cast is like, hey, don't do that. And he does it anyway, which, how compelling. And the world is destroyed. And then Shade, in its first, doing something in the movie, saves them and takes them throughout the universe. And the movie ends.
So yeah, it was the little dude or whatever from the beginning picked it up.
Yeah.
So the little dude on the butt. Okay, and the little dude. So the little inorganic blew up the world, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I think what the movie is trying to say, I feel like, is that in I don't know, there's definitely an objectivity, there's a way to objectify people and view them as this inorganic thing, and I feel like it's that kind of ease, it's easier to deem someone as an object and kind of inorganic than as an organic, fully fledged living being. So maybe the film's trying to say that in that in our perception and in that objectivity of our inherent nature to objectify shit, that that's kind of what destroys the world or whatever. And maybe that's what it's trying to say. Because I feel that's when you kind of again, if you render a human as an object, you're losing humanity with that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not, I don't really I'm really curious kind of as a plot point why that the inorganics, that guy also being kind of this what's the word,
Outcast.
Yeah, he was kind of this outcast inorganic as well. Why was he the one to shoot the gun and destroy? Why did he destroy the world, I guess? Strawberry break?
Not a break. I'm still on the podcast.
All right.
I don't know, dude. It
Bring
just
on.
feels very convenient to me. Just feels very convenient to me that they would.
But why though?
I don't know, because it's like. It's just like I don't really know. That's the thing, is it doesn't really make sense. It's not like good filmmaking where you can, in my opinion, where you can pull it apart and say, okay, well, this makes sense because of this. This is like, it's hard to analyze because it's just kind of an ass pull, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say its obtuse nature comes a lot from, like I said earlier, like kind of like the hodgepodging of events,
Yeah.
and not connecting it together. I think it makes elements of the movie seem more obtuse than they actually are. Like this point, for example. Like I feel like this is a really important point that the filmmakers are trying to make about, especially like like nuclear technology or like having the bomb being dropped on Japan. But I feel like since the antagonist is so poorly written, and that it's just like the human's ability to objectify humanity is why we created the atom bomb. Like I feel like there's a way cooler way to like say that, and having some like emotional like little person, like some like mass shooter in Organic, be like, oh fuck this, and then like blow up the world is like a super, it's like just a really corny and like lame way to like communicate. I feel like that like the objectivity of humanity will lead to our ultimate destruction.
Yeah. So here's how I kind of see it, and bear with me for a sec. I think so we can talk. One thing I do want to talk about, which is a huge point, obviously, is sort of this weapon of mass destruction storyline that just really pops up at the very end. Because that's such a running theme in 80s anime and in old school anime and anime movies.
Well, yeah, Japanese cinema in general was pretty preoccupied.
And of course,
valid.
The biggest event we can look to that's really the impetus for that is, of course, the fact that the United States, in one of the most horrific events, well, I don't want to get too political, but in one of the events I agree with.
I think we can all agree that dropping a nuclear bomb on somebody's not the coolest thing to do.
Yeah. And one of the worst events in human history. We dropped two, not just one, but two atomic bombs on Japan. Since then, I believe that the ghosts of Hiroshima and Nagasaki have lived on through Japanese storytelling and, of course, through the people of Japan. I don't know how they feel about Americans. I think Japanese people in general like Americans. But of course, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are still pretty pissed about that for good reason.
Yeah. I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know any Japanese people personally. So I couldn't really say.
I had some friends who were Japanese growing up, and I mean they seemed like not Japanese American, but like actually from Japan. And I follow some Japanese people on Twitter, and they all seem fine with America. So I don't know. But
atrocities happen all the time. So
yeah, I mean Chinese people are still pissed about the rape of Nanking. So
validly so.
Yeah. Is it Nanking or Nanjing? Either way. They you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like they wanted to touch on that here, and the way they incorporated it, which is a very good storyline, and I think is one of the best things about anime and Japanese storytelling, is the fact that so often they include the storytelling and show. Another thing they really talk about in these stories is fascism, and to me, fascism and nuclear armament and commentaries on those things often go hand in hand. Now, do I think there was a fascism commentary in Birth? No. I don't think so. I don't know if you disagree with that, but to me, there was no real commentary on fascistic government styles or social movements within Birth. But anyway, they kind of just, to me, they kind of just threw it in there, and everything about it was sloppily done. Up until, the last moments of it. I felt like they just tried to make this point as easily as possible. And that's why I asked you if you could find out if there was a manga on this.
Yeah, I wasn't able to really. It's kind of a hard title to like find to begin with. There's like an anime news network page about it. I didn't really want to spend too much time looking for it.
Of course, we're live right now. We probably should have researched this earlier, but
yeah,
it's Memorial Day.
And I don't really.
We need like a Jamie, dude.
Jamie, pull it up, bro.
I mean, fuck Joe Rogan, in my opinion, but
Jamie, pull it up, dude. Yeah,
Jamie,
no,
dude.
I don't know.
Yeah, to me, it was just like really sloppily done, and that's why, it felt like they were trying. It felt like rather than focusing on plot, they were trying to focus on visual spectacle, which to me, the fact that they were trying to focus on like visual spectacle and comedy, is really ironic because both of those things were done so poorly. So poorly. I mean, the animation was dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I don't know. I enjoyed some of like the animation. I thought the animation was like okay and not like super offensive. I thought like specifically like the ship was pretty cool.
Are you talking about art style or animation? Because we should separate those.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Here, let's get into. You want to just get into the review section?
I mean, yeah, I guess so, man. Yeah, it's just I feel like yes, that seems naturally where it's going. So yeah, go ahead. Just trying to kind of read the IMDb of it, see what else this fellow's done. But
okay, so let's start with art. I give the art. I thought it was very simplistic. Not really that awe-inspiring. To be honest, I wasn't really the biggest fan. I thought with an hour 19 minutes movie, they could have done a lot more. I give it a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel like again, just like kind of like the last movie we watched. The issue with this movie, we kind of had similar issues. Is that there was there were definitely like some good ideas in there. Like the sword was definitely like a good idea.
Oh, we're talking about art right now. We'll get to the overall review and like plot and shit later.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Well, I guess like just in terms of art, I thought I did think there was definitely cool moments in the film that involving the art. Like I thought the ship that the lieutenant was in, like I thought that was a cool ship. I also thought like the gauges and like the instruments were drawn like really vividly and well. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the character design, and I for sure thought like it's interesting because this guy actually like he's directed a bunch of Mobile Suit Gundam and stuff. So it's interesting how I just felt the antagonists were really phoned in. Like they were literally like trash can Gundam. So maybe this was like perhaps a film experiment into how to better animate like mech animations or something. I don't know, but yeah, like the trash can Gundams were not very, and like I feel like the one cool enemy was like the guy that, what's the name of the protagonist again?
There's so Nam and
Yeah, Nam. That Nam was fighting at the beginning. Like I thought that robot was kind of inorganic was kind of cool. But yeah, really, other than that, I mean, to be honest, I thought the art style was actually pretty good. That was definitely something that that was one of the better parts of the movie, I think, in my opinion.
What would you rate out of 10?
So yeah, no, I would definitely give it like probably like a 7 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would give it a good review. I thought that's definitely like, while this was a little bit of a slog to get through, like it was definitely like, I think that was not one of the things holding it back for me, at least.
Okay, animation. Let's talk about animation. So I'm gonna start. There were a lot of moments where the lip flaps were moving and characters weren't talking. A lot. A lot of times it was super jerky and character movements straight up weren't. Like it was just, you could tell frames were missing, things weren't looking good. But there were some moments during the chase scenes that looked really good. So overall, I'd probably give it another 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like in terms of myself, like I guess like I kind of let animation slide in my mind because I don't really notice it when it's bad. Maybe it's just my eyes really trained at picking it up. So I thought it was fine. I'd probably just default to your score just since you seem to have like a better eye for it than I do. It's not something that's at least like for me with this movie, it wasn't like glaringly distracting in any sort of way.
Okay. Now let's talk about plot. I thought the plot in an hour 19-minute movie, I mean, you could have made this like an episode of Seinfeld, you know? Like, there were like 3 things that happened the whole movie. And the rest of it was just action and poorly placed comedy. And like, I don't have an issue with action, but when you have an art style that I don't really like, an animation that just isn't really there, you know, action just isn't that good. So I mean, I made multiple comments. Excuse me. I made multiple comments in my notes that nothing really happened. I really just think the plot was really poor. I give it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say definitely where this movie suffered similarly to Dragon's Heaven was definitely in like the writing aspect portion. Yeah, like the characters I could literally care less about.
We're gonna get the characters, so like, yeah, I have a rant about characters.
Yeah, yeah. So they like, I didn't really care about really any particular character, and nor did I really care about the message because the message didn't really become abundantly clear until like it happened. So I feel like it was kind of a bunch of like I was saying, like I said earlier, it's just kind of like a bunch of like events that do like lead to like a message at some point. However, I feel like at least in terms of like good story making, at least like the reveal, I don't know, like I feel like if the steps to the climax just like weren't they seem like sort of like out of order a little bit.
Yeah.
And also weren't including, I think, certain like it was just the movie was built in a very odd way that I don't think helped its case to like get the audiences behind like the characters, and in addition to like kind of like the events that were like going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Characters. Not good. Not good. Yeah, I think the best you can say about any of these characters is that they are like anime stereotypes. At best. At best, they're just anime archetypes that have been adapted for the silver screen. Um, and even then, they are very uninteresting anime archetypes that have been adapted for the silver screen. Um, there's no depth. The only character with any amount of depth is Kim, and I made a note of this I made a note of this. Kim, like, says, "I've always liked you, Bao." When Bao is, getting attacked by the robots and is stuck to one, is getting electrically shocked. And I believe that might be a mistranslation or like a weird context thing, because another way to translate that is "I've always loved you, Bao." And I think that actually makes more sense with what's happening. So, I think that's more of a fitting translation for what happened. So Kim was, but then again, Kim kind of that's it. It's one line. And in an hour 19 movie, there's really nothing that happened to make the characters any sort of in any sort of way compelling, in my opinion. So
I mean, there was definitely like I guess like friendship between those two guys on the ship or whatever. That's just kind of I felt like what that line was trying to communicate, right?
I give the characters a 2 out of 10.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I guess I feel like, similarly, I feel like, part of writing a good plot is having good characters throughout. And yeah, no, I guess similar to what you said, Griffin. I did not think it was they kind of jumped between them in the beginning, so it made it challenging to sort of understand who is the protagonist or not. I feel like the woman was the protagonist, to be honest with you, but like I guess like since what's the name of the guy with the sword again?
Nam.
Yeah, Nam had like a mom and dad in a city somewhere that he was supposed to be the main character, I assume. But
yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Why did Rasa? Yeah,
yeah, was supposed to like go out and like look for him or whatever, because I feel like they were like kind of like maybe were they brother and sister or were they boyfriend and girlfriend or
never explained.
Okay.
Yeah, why did they keep cutting to Nam's parents? Like, it's like I could tell it was supposed to be funny, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be probably a place for character development. And it's just sort of a lazy way to develop a character because like you're just creating another character to just like serve the purpose of adding dimension to like another character, which like that isn't really why you should create a character. Like if the character serves the purpose of just like basically rectifying the existence, not rectifying, that's the wrong word, basically just endorsing the existence of another character and just supporting like the dimensionality of another character, like it's usually a really shitty character, and that's just basically what the parents were. It was just another example of this lazy writing, which I think this movie has like I said, the one good lore thing was the sword. That was cool. That was well written.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's a lot of like poor writing across, and the characters weren't well written either.
Okay, other. I thought the OST was good. I liked the OST. You know, it was Joe Hisaishi or Hisaishi. You know, that's how it's pronounced. And I thought OST was really good. There were some really memorable musical moments, but you know, you can dress up a turd, still a turd.
Yeah, I thought the music was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, no, he actually has composed a lot of really good movies. I see that. Okay.
Yeah, he composed out of the top 10 grossing Japanese films of all time, Joe Hisaishi has composed 4.
No, he's done a lot of work with Takashi Kitano. Yeah, Kitano, which Kitano's sweet.
And
movies.
also Studio
Miyazaki.
Ghibli
Yeah,
and Miyazaki.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
no, I thought the music actually was pretty decent. It was still like kind of like 80s ish, but yeah, it was definitely like it was a more interesting 80s score than Dragon's Heaven, which was definitely a bit more corny.
Yeah. Apart from that, I mean, there's practically no world building. Anything else that I can think of, like anything else that I like, I don't know. I don't really want to give it a score just because, like, music itself, I give like 7 out of 10.
Yeah. No, I guess it was probably default to your score as well. I feel like it's probably pretty good. Maybe like a 6 or something. Yeah, like it wasn't offensive, and it was definitely better than the average. So
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Overall, I would give this movie a 2 out of 10. Do not watch it. This is a skip. Skip this movie.
Yeah, I also wouldn't recommend it to other people. It was definitely kind of a mess of a movie. And even like I do like, and even like there's some movies that I like that are a total mess in like a good way, but I felt like this was definitely a mess.
Did somebody say Tekashi 6ix9ine? Oh yeah. Are you dumb? Are you stupid?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess fucking yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Sorry.
Tekashi 6ix9ine screwed me up.
All right. Well, yeah. I thought I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Yeah, I would probably just give it a 3 out of 10. I thought the animation was not the animation, I guess necessarily, but I thought I thought some of like the art style stuff, like choices were like pretty good. Like the gauges and stuff, like I said. But
yeah.
And at least like the end with the princesses, the universe princesses in that realm. I thought that was a pretty cool sequence. In addition to when he actually like when the little dude, the little organic, like shot the rocket launcher. Like
yeah, maybe I should revise
a well animated portion, as well as the sword lore explanation. Like that was also cool. But outside of those like 3 moments or 2 moments, I don't even know how to count. Outside of those 2 moments, the movie was pretty bad and not very good.
Yeah, I found it to be pretty awful.
So yeah, if you want to spend an hour and a half to watch 5 minutes, go for it. But yeah, I wouldn't suggest it. To be honest, I would recommend Dragon's Heaven more just because
this made Dragon's Heaven look way better.
Yeah, and yeah, this movie actually definitely suffered from being like kind of bloated. Like definitely when the 2 trash cans at the end were looking for them, that section took way too long. Like it was just bloated. But what I would say, it's Ross's spaceship in that section was really cool. That looked cool. That was also a cool looking design. So yeah, there was a couple of good designs of stuff, but yeah, I would say by and large, not a great flick. Wouldn't recommend. There you have it.
I feel like we just burned like an hour, and I feel like we just wasted an hour and a half of our lives.
Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely feel. Yeah. It definitely wasn't. Yeah, there was not a whole lot of redeemable qualities to it. I would agree with you.
All right. Well, this has been the 80s Anime Playlist Podcast. I'm Griffin.
I'm Bing, aka Bing Bong, aka Dave.
And we love you. Peace!